Top of the day to you all, and welcome to Module 7 of PD 5202, Curriculum Contents / Dimensions. The other time we met, we talked about curriculum objectives. Today we shall be talking about curriculum contents. That is, what are those things? That is the subject matter you will include in the curriculum of every subject. There are some salient factors you must have in mind as a teacher before you can fill the curriculum of your subject with subject matters for them to achieve their desired objectives or goals. One of them is self-sufficiency. This criterion means that students should be given chance to experiment, observe, and do field study. This system allows them to learn independently. With this principle in mind, it is suggested that there should be a one-day independent learning activity each week for a high school curriculum or a preparatory year. However, this should be carefully planned by the teacher. When the student returns, they should present output from the activity. What this one means is that whatever subject matter you want to include in your subject curriculum, you must make sure that they are self-sufficient for students. This type of factor is telling you that your students should be actively involved in the teaching and learning process, and they are a major factor when you are filling the curriculum with the subject matter. The second one is significance. The subject matter or content is significant if it is selected and organized to develop learning activities, skills, processes, and attitudes. It also develops the three domains of learning. That is, when you are talking about cognitive learning, affective learning, and psychomotor learning. Particularly if your student comes from different cultural background and races, the subject matter must be culture sensitive. That is, the subject matter you want to include in your subject curriculum, they must be of immense importance to your students. And you must take into consideration their psychomotor, cognitive, and affective domain development. It shouldn't be acquisition of knowledge alone. It should be significant to them. And if your students are from different cultural background, you have to factor in their different cultures when you are filling the subject curriculum with subject matters. The third one is validity. Validity refers to the authenticity of the subject matter or content you selected. When you say authenticity, how authentic are the subject matters you selected? Make sure that the topics are not obsolete. And you say this way, you should make sure that the subjects are not obsolete, the subject matters are not obsolete. That is, the subject matter should be the trending subject, the recent development. For example, do not include typewriting as a skill to be learned by college student or by your student in school. You know what this means? You know what typewriting means. You want to include subject matter in the subject curriculum that has to do with typewriting, that has to do with the typing, and you are including typewriting as a topic to be taught. We are in the ICT driven world. What should be included in such a as a subject matter in such a curriculum should be what? Should be how to use electronic devices to type or to typeset. Do not wait for another 5 years to change it. That is, there is need to regularly check the curriculum subject matter or content and replace it if necessary. As things change in the world, you also go along with the new trends. When things are changing, you have to develop your curriculum so that it will be in tandem with the the events as they are unfolding. That's all about validity. Then we talk about interest. Interest. This criterion is valid to the learner-centered curriculum. You want to fill the subject curriculum with subject matters. The learners should be your major focal points. You ask yourself if this subject matter you want to include in the subject curriculum will be of interest to your learners. Students learn best if the subject matter is interesting. This makes it meaningful to them. However, if the curriculum is subject-centered, teachers have no choice but to finish the pacing schedule religiously and only teach what is in the book. This approach explains why many students fail in the subject. What this factor is talking about is that student, when you are filling the subject curriculum with subject matter, the interest of the student is paramount. It is paramount. You have to include the methodology that will actively involve students in the teaching and learning. But as a corollary there, they said if the curriculum is subject-centered, which is the practice in most of the nation's public schools. Their own is just to teach and make sure they cover the curriculum. In such a situation, students are passive learners and they don't normally grasp whatever you are teaching them. And that is why many of them fail in the exam. The fifth one there, utility. Utility. Another criterion is the usefulness. When you say utility, usefulness of the content or subject matter. Students think that a subject matter or some subjects are not necessary to them. So if the subject matter you fill your subject curriculum with are not, if some of them are not of immense interest to the student, they will not show any interest in it. If you talk from now till Jesus comes, they will not even listen to you because it's of no interest to them. So you have to make sure that the subject matter you are filling your subject curriculum with are of great interest to the student. So students normally view this uninteresting subject matter as useless. As a result, they do not study. They do not study. So the other one is learnability. Learnability. The subject matter or content must be within the scheme of the learners. It should be within their experiences. Don't fill the subject curriculum with subject matters that are beyond learners' experiences. Teachers should apply theories in the psychology of learning to know how subjects are presented, sequenced, and organized to maximize students' learning capacity. What this one is saying is that you don't include subject matter in junior secondary school curriculum 1. That is subject matter that they're supposed to know at the junior secondary school 2. You don't include it in junior secondary school 1. You have to arrange them in such a way that they move from known to unknown, from simple to complex. So you don't put the subject matter they're supposed to know at junior secondary school, junior secondary school 2, in the subject curriculum for junior secondary school 1. You have to stop the subject matter. You have to stop the subject curriculum with subject matter that are learnable for the students. The subject matter that are not beyond student experiences. The last one there is feasibility. Feasibility means the full implementation of the subject matter. You should consider the school real situation, the government, the society in general. Students must learn within the allowable time and the use of resources available. Do not give them a topic that is impossible to finish. For example, you have only 1 week left in the term to finish the unit, but the activities of the topic may take a month for the students to complete. Thus, the requirement is not feasible. It is not feasible. There is no way you can finish such a topic because you have just maybe 40 or 45 minutes at most per period, and you have just 2 or 3 periods per week, and you have just only 1 week to end the time. I mean, to end the teaching period before the exams. So there's no way you will finish such a topic. So you have to make sure that while stuffing the subject curriculum with subject matter, you have to look at the feasibility of implementing the topics. You have to look at the feasibility of implementing this topic. For instance, do not offer a computer subject if there is no electricity in that area. You are talking about subject matter and you want to include computer in a remote area, or even in public schools where there are no electricity, or where there are no even computer gadgets to work with, or where there are no experts to even handle the computer if they are available. So you don't need to include such thing in your subject curriculum. You have to look at the feasibility studies. Or you want to teach English language in one of the subjects, and there are no English language teachers in that school. How will the topic be taught? So you have to look at all these factors while you are stuffing the subject curriculum with subject matters. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of Module 7 of PD 5202 curriculum content. Until when else we meet to discuss Module 8, do have a great day.